What's up, guys? My name is Luke Mollet. Welcome back to another episode. I'm a basketball player in Adelaide, South Australia. Today we're doing a little podcasting episode, a little bit different than normal. I have our special guest, Mike Malat, joining us in a little while. If you don't know Mike, I'm about to introduce him in 2 seconds. Basically, I knew Mike from a little while ago. He was living in Adelaide, now living in Dallas, Texas, so we're going to FaceTime him in. Let's join him right now. What's going on, my man?
What's up, guy?
How are you?
Good, man. Just watching the game.
Perfect. Alrighty, ready? Alrighty, what's up, guys? I'm here with Mike Malat. We're talking about faith in sports today, and faith in basketball specifically with Mike. So while you're on, Mike, let's just talk about a little bit about yourself, your history with basketball especially, and sort of where everything's taken you up to the now.
Yeah, man. Mike Malat here in America. I've kind of been known as the commish, but I guess we can get to all that stuff. But for me, I've played basketball my whole life. Played big minutes in high school. Made it to the state championship. Played against Derrick Rose in the finals. We lost, but we both had 2 points, so I feel good about that.
Perfect.
College was really rough for me. I was like the first in my family to kind of like get recruited and do all this stuff, and I didn't really know a lot about it, and neither did my parents really. And so college was like my growing years and just a lot of mental learning and those types of things. And then I had a better pro career, and that was a grind. But I learned a lot, and I had a really good pro career, so that was fun. And I got to go to a lot of different countries and play basketball, and had a pretty good pro career. And then after that, turned into a coach and did player development. Highlight was really making it all the way to the NBA. I mean, I couldn't have got any closer without being on the roster.
Yeah.
So I was with the Dallas Mavericks, practicing with them like all during the summers and playing with the guys. And a lot of those, how that started, a lot of those videos are featured on like BALLISLIFE, playing with Luka Doncic and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then that brought me out to Australia, where I was the head coach, and that's where I kind of was able to meet you and the rest of the church fam and the basketball community out there. So that was really cool. But yeah, really just play pro, kind of a true player in the sense, just a normal guy that loves playing on the blacktops, and then turned it into a coaching career, and then here we are.
Perfect. Because even then, like, I met you, and then I think I ended up YouTubing your name like a few months later. I was like, I gotta work out who this guy is. All the BALLISLIFE highlights up there against Luka. Everything's up there.
That's what always happens. Like when I came home, I didn't realize how many people, because it's up to like 4 million views now.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like humbly walk around like, surely no one recognizes me. But like I was in Finish Line. I'm like at the shoe store, and these guys are coming up to me like, are you like the commish? Like, do you play with Luka? And I'm like, no way. Like, I just don't expect that many people to recognize me. But I guess, I mean, how many white, bald guys are playing against NBA players? But
yeah, exactly.
It blew up. And even from that, I got to do, like, NBA 2K.
Yeah, right.
And, like, all these just crazy, crazy blessings that came out of it. But, yeah, it's been really fun.
Because I remember us walking around church, and you were like, yeah, you have your YouTube stuff, but, like, just give it a week and you'll just be a regular guy again.
Exactly. Well, the church guys were the funnest, like, just because they overhyped it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I couldn't meet anybody without going, like, oh, look at his YouTube, So it got fun. I like it. It got fun.
Perfect. I'm going to link Mike's testimony videos. He's got some awesome testimony videos on YouTube as well, so I'm going to link them in the description. Let's talk about faith. So sort of what really brought you to having such a faith in God and really sort of pursuing his plan for you. And let's start there.
Well, I think for me, I kind of got introduced to it really early. My dad happened to find it later in his life, and I was still like in high school, so around 14, 15, I would say 16 is where I really got saved.
Yeah.
And it was interesting for me because I was like a dog. Like, coming from St. Louis area, it's it's rough, it's tough, and I'm playing like in the hoods and stuff like that, and it's just kind of how you had to play in that environment. And then becoming a Christian but also having this like tenacity about myself. It was really hard to balance as a teenager because like, you're just so emotional just to begin with.
Totally, yeah.
As a teenager. and then kind of going like, oh, you're learning like love and compassion. But as I really kind of started digging deep in it and stuff, I was realizing that like being a Christian and like Jesus in general, like he's fierce, because he's living this life of like sinless and they're not making those things, and like showing love and everything is hard, it's tough. And it actually gave me this more of like, I could relate to his, I kind of put it in a basketball sense, like this competitive nature, where it's like, I'm not gonna fall to sin. I'm not gonna let the devil kind of take me on a different route. And when I started learning about it and stuff, it actually kind of just became a lifestyle, and it fit my lifestyle really well because I was already kind of like, I like going my own path and just kind of being a trailblazer, and just seeing the Christian life, how it's kind of like that, where like you're doing things different. I already didn't drink. I never drank. I didn't smoke. I just felt like those things fit in my life. And then once I had a reason and I like an identity for that, then it just became fun. Like I actually enjoyed being an ambassador of it. And then from there, just my faith just kept growing because I kept like learning more. And then how it kind of coincides with your life experiences, it's just so funny how like, the word never dies. So like I have things in my Bible underlined from when I was 16. And I read them now and I'm like, what was I like, why did I underline that? Like what was I going through?
Why did that make sense in that time?
Because now I'm like, that means nothing. But when I read it now, there's different things that stick out. So I find that really, really fun, but it helped me get through a lot of like, I guess some emotional times and stuff like that as I was growing. But once I found it, I guess to summarize it, having the faith and everything like that, and just kind of like learning what Jesus and everything was about, it became fun to me to kind of be an ambassador of that Christian life.
And I remember talking to Gills as well, and he was always like, talk to Mike. Always got all these crazy stories, and anything that he needed in life, he found literally reading the Bible. And just everything, like, he needed motivation, if he needed help, if he needed anything, it was there. And then he was like, oh yeah, and you watch his BALLISLIFE videos, and he's wearing all these Christian t-shirts, working out with NBA guys, and he's just so proud of that. That was so awesome to see.
I just love, like, I have I wear a lot of the active faith, and my brand is fellowship basketball, and it's really the cornerstone of like how I train, how I coach, and my leadership, I guess, approach. It's all based off of biblical standards. And that's why I feel like I'm so confident when I train and coach, because it's like I know that the cornerstone of who I am is coming from an everlasting love. And it's like, I know the Bible, I know Jesus, I know God. They're not going to fail. They've already won. So if I'm taking all of my teaching approaches and everything from that, I know that I can have confidence that this stuff works. You know? And it just gives me so much confidence because I don't have to go in there thinking about, man, I got to get this guy's ego. I just go in there with love. I build relationships. I really care about them. And then I just share my basketball knowledge on top of that. And it just, for me, it works. It works so smoothly. And I just love it. I love it.
And even when I was filming that workout with Moses that time, the first time I came in with Mo, and you guys working out at the Ark, I was like, there's something different about this guy. I don't know what it is, but he sort of just demands the court, but he makes it so fun at the same time. And he's like, he's had the best relationship with Moses, and it was easy for me to film because you were like, all right, cool, what do you need? Like, let's just do that.
I love that, and I appreciate that compliment too. And that's kind of like one of the things I've always wanted to be. So like as a player, I always got the compliment of like when I was in Italy, a lot of the guys would come up to me, and I would spend time in my pregame just with people and just kind of like lingering with them and stuff. And I always got the compliment like, man, I didn't expect you to be like that. And I was just kind of like, I understand what they're saying, because I know there's some pros out there and stuff. They're just kind of like, too good for people. But I always kind of took it a part of me to like, man, meet people where they're at and just like have fun with them, like hear their stories, hear their testimonies, and just kind of relate to them, kind of take that time with them. And I took that into my coaching approach. And I think it's so important to make people feel that you're approachable. Because I don't understand what you gain by kind of just being so closed off. I don't get what you gain by that, because let's say we're working out and you're filming Moses and you're doing that and like you're struggling to get all these angles and this and that. How hard is it for me to go, hey man, how's it look? Does it look good? Where do you need me?
Yeah.
Like, it makes the environment better. It makes you loosen up. It makes me more comfortable because we have a dialogue. So I just feel there's so many more incentives by just going, hey, let me get to know this guy and just kind of open the doors.
And it just gets natural.
I don't understand why more people, even like not being a Christian, I don't understand why more people are just more like approachable. You know? Just talk about it.
Totally. In terms of like, I'm noticing even through my career now, like going through the 3-on-3 stuff and whatnot. Obviously, we played 3-on-3 together. The tournaments now, like I'm in elite tournaments. We're going at, you know, some of the best dudes. And it's just like, how do you sort of remain in that space of, you know, if you lose, it's totally okay. Or if someone's just heckling you, it's okay. Like how do you sort of stay in that mentality of, you know, I'm going to get you, but I'm going to remain calm?
Yeah, I think that's the funnest part about just kind of like being a Christian and a competitive animal, because I'm like, I'm nuts. I'm absolutely nuts. Like, I have a psycho approach.
I've seen
like,
you at games night.
It's absolutely insane. It's funny, but like I have confidence being so crazy about my craft because I know what it is in my life and in my heart.
Right.
So it allows me to be nuts and crazy.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I can you know, put it to the side and say that was fun. That was really fun. I tried to win. I gave it all I got, and then I can walk away and say, you know, hey, let's reach this guy.
Yeah.
Let's talk to him. Like, where's your life at, and this and that. The Christian and competition, I feel, actually go hand in hand.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people think, oh, Christianity just means love. Well, like for me, it's like I can love doing what I do, and I'm showing love for a craft.
Yep.
By giving it my all.
Totally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think there's a beauty in just understanding that this is a craft, and I think where people also struggle is if it's more than just a craft and it is your life and it is your identity.
Yeah.
That's when it's really hard to just say, "Hey man, good game."
Yeah.
Or just like, "Man, I lost." Or it's so hard to get wins because maybe you're putting so much pressure on the fact that like you have to win in order to eat, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It makes it too big, and if anything is too big or there's too much pressure on it, it actually creates hesitation.
Yeah.
And so the more hesitation you have, the more you're too strong on it.
More tense you are. Yeah.
So I think understanding that it is a craft, you know, I have God-given ability to do those things. I have the privilege to do them. I have the permission to do them.
Yep.
Because they are my God-given abilities. I can step into that role, give it my all, and being as completely crazy and nuts as I want to be, ironically, gives God glory.
Yeah.
Because I'm using everything I possibly can to give God glory through my craft or my ability.
Yeah.
I think the line that you have to walk, though, is that by doing it, you show a certain amount of class.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you can tell when guys really spend time with the Lord and when they don't.
Yeah. Because
I can be an absolute animal and I can be a dog, but I know how to still be classy about talking trash. So like I'm not going to talk about your wife and your dog and your kid.
Yeah.
But I can say you can't guard me and this and that.
Yeah.
Like those types of things, because there's a line that I'm trying to walk.
All right, next one. I got a couple big ones for you here. Number one thing I was thinking was like, came to Australia, now you're back in the US, you've been sort of around the place, playing, coaching, all that other stuff. When something doesn't work out, let's say something goes horribly wrong, and you're in a situation where you're sort of sent back home or whatever happens. How do you then go, all right, cool, like we're just going to start again. I know that I've got to wait for a plan. I got to wait for something to come from me from God. And once that happens, we can see it through and he's got the next best thing. How do you sort of stay the course with that? I find a lot of people sort of go, crap, something's not right. I'm out. Like it's the end of the world. How do you sort of stay the course?
This is where I'm at. And
I've been literally going through
it since I left Australia, and it stinks, man. It is a hard chapter, and anybody can do it. And I guess one of the first things is you can realize that you're not the only one.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing of of staying in that faith is understanding how God talks to you.
Yep.
So for me, first thing I would say is it's extremely important to be in a place of low.
Yep.
And use it as an opportunity to showcase your faith.
Gotcha. Yep.
When you wanna edify that you are a Christian and that you have an opportunity, the lows are your best opportunities. So that's the first thing to recognize.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody listening to how good a Christian I am when I'm at the championship run.
Yeah.
They're like, man, he's a great guy, whatever. But like, I'm on the top of the mountain, man. Like everyone sees you, but like you're good. It's easy to be good at the top of the mountain.
Right.
So the first time that you get locked out of the house, your first mind should go, people are watching. This is a time to be an ambassador.
Yep.
Like, show your light, show your light, show your light, show your faith. So if you're walking in the moment of saying, I'm going to show it, that means you're constantly reminding yourself to be it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So like, all right, I got to turn my light on. The other way about that, like just analogy sense, is if your light isn't on and you feel you're in the darkness and you feel you're in a valley, if your light isn't on, it's a sort of like it's more dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So turn your light on so that you can see.
Yeah.
What that means is let that guide you and not your own understanding.
Gotcha.
Because when you get into the valley, you're sitting there going, man, this is a dark valley. So that's what I mean by understand how God talks to you. So for me, I have a knock on every door type mentality. Go. And it's really hard for me to kind of sit and wait and let things kind of like, let God kind of like put the pieces in place. It's so hard for me because I go day to day and I feel like, man, I probably could have done more to get that job.
Right.
But like 9 times out of 10 in my life and my career, when I try to do it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But when I just sit and I seek God and I seek those understandings and I seek what he wants me to do, it's like that door opens for me automatically. But now that's how God talks to me.
Gotcha.
There's other people in the world that like maybe they're on the side where they don't do anything and all they do is wait.
Yep.
Well, maybe God is telling you that you need to go.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. Like I need to wait and not get ahead of God.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the biggest and kind of like the best blessing where it's like you're in a low and you get a chance to actually see how God talks to you. And I am in that phase right now, and I constantly have to keep reminding myself, stay in the Word, keep seeking. I've just found out that the more that I seek, the more that connection that I need to be making, God puts in my path. Where if I'm trying to seek and do it myself, I just never find
Doesn't
them.
work. Yeah.
And I would say the last thing for that, and I think the reason why it helps so much and why it's so important is my desires right now. If I'm not reading, like I'll be so far probably from where God wants me to go.
Yep.
Like you start rationalizing, you start kind of like negotiating with yourself. I like so bad I'd want to come back to Australia that like I'd want to come back right now that I'd probably take a deal that God wouldn't even want me to take.
Yep.
But like my desires are right now, I'm so hungry to like just work again.
Yeah.
That he'd be like, Mike, you just took like 100,000 less than what I had for you.
Yeah.
But you out here trying to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I won't get to the point where like I have those desires unless I'm reading. Unless I let the Holy Spirit like be activated in my life. Like I'll keep having my own human moral understandings.
Yeah.
And it messes me up every single time. I think the biggest motto, if you kind of watch Mollet testimonies, and the biggest one about my first testimony was, it's not about me, man. It's not about me. So when you get into those lows, you want to sit there and go like, God, what can you do for me? Like, he not no genie?
Yeah.
It's like, Mike, can you keep serving me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, my bad, God, my bad. Like,
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to coach the Lakers, sure.
Yeah.
But where can he use me?
Yeah.
To glorify him and reach more people, because that's what it's about. So I think those are just the biggest key points, man.
Yeah,
for
definitely. I got one more for you.
Right.
So some people have reached out, Instagram mainly, or sort of spoken to me in person or whatnot about sort of how do they get involved in sort of finding their faith and where is their faith. And some people are sort of being in church, but maybe might be like a traditional church and they're a young person, they're not really fond of that, or they want something more upbeat, or just a different take on it. What is let's say, your two biggest steps to sort of just getting involved and sort of finding where you fit?
Right, yeah. No, I think I was lucky because my father was the one who found it.
Yeah,
and so, it was in the household. So I would say if that's the best way to do it is obviously have somebody in your family.
Right.
If it's not your family, somebody in your brotherhood or your sisterhood.
Yeah.
So, if you look around and your friends are not leveling you up, that's not even a Christian conversation. If they're just not leveling you up, or I heard maybe it was Denzel or something say it, if you're around five dummies, you're going to be the sixth.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
the bad thing, and a lot of people, why they don't find Christ is the church comes across as so judgmental and so business oriented and stuff like that. So it's kind of 50-50 of saying get around the church, this and that. I would say, even me, I don't like religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just love Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I would say the fellowship aspect is the most important. Find a big brother, find a big sister, find a family member that can lean into you, where it's your mentor per se. I'd say the second thing is, to your question, it's more your own journey.
Yep.
So once you're in that faith and everything, God talks to me so differently than how He might talk to you or even my wife. So I would say, if you're in your faith and you're learning it, don't change who you are. Let God show you what your abilities are and live in that, because we need that. We need each part of the body to grow the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe I'm the nose, but we need the ears, we need the eyes, we need the mouth. So
definitely. And circling back to that too.
I would give that encouragement to people to say, dude, just be you and let God show you who you are.
Definitely.
So find a good fellowship group, some good leaders, good mentors, and then just kind of let God grow who you are. I think those are the best ways to do it.
Definitely. And circling back to that too, my first time coming into church, I met you and the whole basketball community that is our church.
Right. And we did church the first day, or we did basketball the first day you came.
That was the activity. Yeah. And the day after that, I filled in for your team. So they were like, "You want to play hoops?" I was like, "Cool, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, can do."
I love this church. All they do is hoops.
Literally. But even now, if you look at how, say, Gills, for example, sort of just invited me in, and then, he's like, "Oh yeah, this guy hoops too, this guy hoops too, this guy hoops too." And I already have a network of 10 to 15 people that I'm like, all right, cool. I'm sorted. I've got a great group of people who I can just be anything I need. I can be like, all right, cool. What's your thoughts on this? How are you guys doing today? Checking in on people, championing people on. And that's the biggest thing right now for us, is really just working on how can we keep bringing people up and keep championing on people and being there for their downtimes, but also pulling them back up when they need that help.
Absolutely.
So that's been a huge blessing. So, yeah.
The fellowship, man, it just the iron sharpens iron. It's so true, man. It really develops each other. I can't emphasize enough. I think it's when more than 2 or 3 people meet in the name of Jesus, He's there.
Yep.
He's there. And so I just love that feeling of fellowship. I just absolutely love it.
Totally. Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any last things to say before we head off for the day?
I would say I'm going to keep working on my testimony 4.
Yep.
I'm going to try to basically talk about my time in Australia as a coach, and there's kind of leading up to where I'm now. Those testimonies are fun because, like you said, there's a high, and I am now currently in a low.
And it's storytelling the whole way through. The whole thing is just your story.
Be open about it. Let people know what's going on.
Yeah.
So that I can share it, and then I just know that something good's going to come, and so the glory of God will be there. So I want to kind of vocalize those things so that it's good to say, hey, I am in a low, and I don't have a job. And so when I do get one, they're like, man, glory to God.
Yeah. And
then the other thing is, geez, man, I just hope I get back to see you guys. I just want to be around.
Dude, we miss you.
One day, man, we're going to come back. It's going to happen.
So much has happened since you guys have left. We got to fill you in on heaps.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. But no, I love you guys. Love you and your family. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Mike Malat from Dallas, Texas.
That's right.
Yeah, we love you, man. Thank you so much for jumping on. I'll speak to you soon.
Yes, sir. Love you guys, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.